Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the press conference of the Publicity Department of the CPC Central Committee. Today's press conference is the 17th one in the series China in the Past Decade press conference. We have with us Mr. Sun Maoli, member of the Party Committee of the Ministry of Public Security, Mr. Wu Deqing, Director General of Personnel Training, Mr. Qiu Baoli, Director General of Security Administration, Mr. Liu Zhongyi, Director General of Criminal Investigation, Mr. Wang Yingwei, Director General of Cybersecurity, and Mr. Li Jiangping, Director General of Transport Administration. They will brief you on achievements of the public security authorities in building a peaceful China at a higher level, and also take your questions. Now, opening remarks from Mr. Sun Maoli. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, since the 18th CPC National Congress, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, we in the Public Security Departments have been firmly advancing the Peaceful China initiative in an effort to make social governance more inclusive, law-based, smart and professional, and raise the Chinese people's sense of benefit, happiness and security. People's sense of safety increased from 87.55% in 2012 to 98.62% in 2021 and has stayed at a higher level for the past decade. China is widely recognized as one of the safest countries in the world. First, firmly taking party leadership as the fundamental principle in the Peaceful China initiative. Party leadership is the fundamental political nature of public security authorities. We have enhanced 4 awarenesses, firmed up confidence in 4 aspects, and upheld 2 central principles. We have done our best to implement the decisions and plans of the Party Central Committee and made party leadership central to all aspects and the entire process of the Peaceful China initiative. We have always adhered to the right political direction and turned our political and institutional advantages into strong power for building a peaceful China. Second, firmly taking defending political security as the primary task of the Peaceful China initiative. We pay close attention to the salient risks affecting political security, take safeguarding the security of political power and system as the central task, and strictly guard against and severely crack down on infiltration, subversion, and sabotage activities of hostile forces at home and abroad. We fully implement the party's strategy of governing Tibet and Xinjiang in the new era, deepened the struggle against terrorism and separatism, and there have been no violent terrorist attack throughout the country for more than 5 years in a row. We resolutely safeguarded the security and stability of Hong Kong and Macau and promoted the long-term stability in the 2 regions and the sound development of one country, 2 systems in the long run. Third, firmly taking safeguarding social stability as the basic goal of the Peaceful China initiative. We have given full play to the role of building a peaceful China and kept a close eye on major economic and financial risks. Since 2013, 908,000 cases of various economic crimes were cracked, and economic losses of 477.46 billion yuan were recovered. We further promoted the protection of the Yangtze River and other work, and earnestly safeguarded the country's biological and ecological security. We strengthened the management of railways, civil aviation, port, shipping, and road traffic, which effectively served the domestic and international circulation. We have completed successfully major security tasks such as those surrounding the 70th anniversary of the founding of the PRC, the 100th anniversary of the founding of the CPC and the Beijing Winter Olympics and Paralympic Games. In combating COVID-19, we have adhered to the principle of putting people and life first and made every effort to do a good job in COVID response, centering on ensuring stability in 6 key areas and providing protection on 6 fronts. We launched a series of measures to make things easier for people and companies in terms of household registration, traffic control, immigration and entry and exit, and accomplishing the target of 100 million people settling in cities ahead of schedule, and more than 100 million people have enjoyed convenience such as taking driver tests in places other than their home provinces, vehicle inspection, replacement of certificates, and so on. Fourth, firmly taking protecting people's safety as the fundamental value in the Peaceful China Initiative. Cracking down on gangster crimes has breakthrough. A total of 16,600 gangster organizations have been cracked down since 2018. In the fight against gangsters, the mafia has become one of the most popular campaigns since the 19th CPC National Congress. We've maintained the momentum of crackdown on 8 major types of crimes. The number of cases filed in 2021 is 64.4% lower than that in 2012, and the current homicide detection rate in the country has reached 99%. China has been among the countries with one of the lowest homicide rates in the world. We focused on frequent cases such as pornography, gambling, drugs, theft, robbery and fraud, food and medical rings, and illegal crimes such as abduction and trafficking of women and children, and solved major cases and more small cases more quickly. Since June 2021, the number of telecom network fraud cases has declined for 12 consecutive months compared with the same period last year. Fifth, improving the law and order system as an important underpinning for the Peaceful China Initiative. We have established and improved an integrated operation mechanism, deepened the development and application of big data, and basically put in place a law and order system that features circles, units, and various factors. We spared no effort to promote the creation of model cities and build 256,000 intelligent security communities. We carried out the establishment of the Fengqiao-style public security police station and implemented policing models such as the 2 teams and 1 room, 1 district or grid, 1 police officer, and 1 village and 1 auxiliary police. The 3-dimensional grid of public security prevention and governance at the grassroots level has basically taken shape. We deepened the development of safe campuses and safe hospitals. Compared with 2012, the number of cases involving hospitals and schools has dropped significantly in 2021, and the number of public security cases investigated and dealt with has dropped by 38.4%. Sixth, firmly taking safeguarding cybersecurity as an important part of the Peaceful China Initiative. We believe that without cyber security, there's no national security. We organized and carried out the CleanNet special campaign. Since 2017, a total of 255 cases have been detected and 385 suspects have been arrested. We implemented the leveled protection system for network security and the security protection system for key information infrastructure, carried out network security supervision and management in accordance with the law, and effectively ensured the security of key information infrastructure, important networks, and data. Seventh, firmly taking the reform of policing institutions as a strong impetus for the Peaceful China Initiative. We focus on enhancing the team's readiness in a real scenario and aim to make the organizations more efficient, police category more optimized, and the basis more solid. The reform of the public security authorities have achieved a historic breakthrough, and they're more efficient and effective in safeguarding national political security and social stability, which provided strong underpinnings for the fulfillment of the tasks and missions in the new era. Eighth, firmly taking fostering an iron-like team as the strong safeguard for the Peaceful China Initiative. We have fully appreciated general requirements for party loyalty, serving the people, impartiality in law enforcement, and strict discipline. Strengthened the political building of the police, deepened reform and strengthened the police. We did a good job in practical combat training, strengthened team management, and given preferential treatment to the police through innovation. The political ecology of the public security team has been further optimized. The ability has been further improved, and the discipline and conduct have been further improved. Over the past 10 years, more than 3,700 police officers across the country have passed in the line of duty, and more than 50,000 police officers have been injured in the line of duty. One person was posthumously awarded the national honor title of People's Hero, and one was awarded the title of Vanguard Reform, one was awarded the July 1st Medal, and one was awarded the August 1st Medal. 9 individuals and 1 unit were awarded Model of the Times. A large number of advanced models were honored at the provincial and ministerial level. More than 2.4 million people and more than 240,000 units were awarded. Going forward, we in the public security authorities throughout the country will continue to follow the guidance of the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, move forward with courage and perseverance, and continue to write a new chapter for long-term social stability and greet the opening of the 20th CPC National Congress with good results. Thank you. Now the floor is open for questions. Please identify your media affiliation before asking a question.
The Beijing Radio.
With the development of information technology, there have been new developments in cyber crimes. What have the police authorities done in combating cyber crimes? This is a very pertinent question that reflects the development of our times. I'll have Director General Wang Yingwei of the Cyber Administration to answer this question. Thank you for the question. In recent years, we've seen rapid development of Internet technologies and industries. While they have brought convenience to people, they have also enabled new forms of crimes. We have focused on the cyber-enabled crimes and disorder online and have adopted a strategy to combat the whole chain of the crimes and maintained an approach of promoting governance through cracking down on crimes, which has effectively safeguarded cybersecurity and the online order. In particular, since 2018, for 5 years running, we have carried out a special campaign called CleanNet. We aim to safeguard order and stability online and have launched offensive against cyber crimes. First, we have cracked hard on cyber violations and crimes. In response to cyber crimes such as infringement of personal information, hacking, illicit asset online, illicit gambling, pornography, and disinformation, we have taken strong measures to crack the crime groups and the cases. Altogether, 255,000 cybercrime cases have been cracked since the launch of the special campaign, and 385,000 suspects have been arrested. Second, we have focused on combating the ecology of cybercrimes. We have targeted the supplies, technology support, advertisement, payment and settlement, and other key links in cybercrimes, and hit areas that matter the most to cut the crime chain. In 2021, we've punished more than 6,000 various crime groups and arrested 73,000 suspects. Third, we have enhanced online order. We have enhanced security supervision and administrative law enforcement and punished the perpetrators that commit crimes related to online application and also services in an effort to promote the sound development of the Internet industries. For the companies involved in cybercrime, their failure to fulfill cyber administration obligations have also been dealt with. Since the launch of the special campaign, 162 Internet companies have been meted out administrative punishment. Going forward, we'll continue to maintain high pressure on online crime and clear up online ecology and ensure the building of a peaceful China. With Xinhua News Agency, in recent years we have seen frequent fraud cases online. What are some of the difficulties and what measures have been taken by the public security authorities? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. In recent years, with the rapid development of information technology, the crime pattern has undergone major changes. Traditional crimes have continued to decline, and new types of cybercrimes, such as telefraud, have increased. And they are recording rapid growth in countries around the world. In particular, the pandemic has moved many of our life and work activities online, which has further exacerbated telecrimes. It has now become a global problem. First, it is difficult to combat transnational organized crimes. Overseas fraud groups are well organized and have a clear division of labor. Like many other transnational organized crimes, it features multi-industry support, industrialized distribution, group operation, and refined labor division. Second, they kept upgrading their method for committing telecrimes. They use new technologies such as blockchain, metaverse, virtual currency, AI, and GeoIP to continuously update their criminal tools and fraud methods, making them more concealed and confusing. The third is that to combat overseas crimes, there are more difficulties we face. At present, 80% of telefraud crimes are committed by overseas entities. Due to COVID-19, it is very difficult to arrest those overseas suspects. Fourth, the effort needs to be strengthened at the source. In some key areas, the territorial responsibilities have not been fully fulfilled. There are still a large number of key fraud-related personnel stranded abroad. Fifth, international cooperation needs to be strengthened. The framework agreement for police cooperation to combat such crimes needs to be improved, and it is difficult to initiate investigation procedures in a timely manner, and cross-border crackdowns and investigation and evidence collection are difficult. In this regard, the Ministry followed the decisions of the Party Central Committee, worked under the Interagency Joint Meeting Mechanism of the State Council, and together with the State Immigration Administration and other relevant departments, to actively overcome the impact of COVID-19 and carry out the following work. First is to promote international law enforcement cooperation. Despite COVID-19, we sent several working groups to Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and other regions to actively engage in international law enforcement cooperation to crack down on overseas suspects. Second, we carried out multiple measures to address overseas fraud groups through domestic measures. We carried out the cutting of card supply operation to crack down on card dealers and squeeze the crime space. We also launched the card flow project to cut off the smuggling channels. The nail pulling operation targeting major criminal leaders to arrest domestic suspects and overseas suspects. Third is to intensify efforts in source control. Through the State Council Joint Meeting Mechanism, party committees and governments in various localities are required to shoulder their primary responsibilities of stopping and discouraging suspects, to reduce to the largest extent the number of criminals traveling abroad to commit crimes, and eliminate the operating space for overseas criminals. Next question.
你好，总台央视记者提问。那么近年来呢，党中央、国务院多次对社会治安防控体系建设作出部署。
The State Council and the Party Central Committee made decisions on improving the prevention and control system in promoting social security. It has become an important part of the building of a peaceful China. Please brief us on the major measures and progress in building such a system. Indeed, the system of prevention and control of public security has become an important part of the building of a peaceful China. I'd like to invite my colleague, Mr. Sun, to answer this question. The CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at the core, attaches great importance to the building of a prevention and control system for social security. The Central Committee and the State Council has made a number of relevant decisions. To implement these decisions, the Ministry has seen building of such a system as an important part of building a peaceful China at a higher level and an important way for improving the ability of public security organs to manage complex security situations. We focused on improving the integrated, coordinated, and targeted prevention and control, kept improving the top-level design and institutional building. We mobilized public security authorities nationwide to enhance technology empowerment and improve prevention and control mechanisms. These have helped to maintain the overall stability of society and ensure the security of major events and in fighting against COVID-19. Since the 19th CPC National Congress, in order to further building the prevention and control system, upon approval, the Ministry launched the campaign to build demonstration cities. We instructed all localities to use this opportunity to strengthen prevention and control, expand social coverage, and explore smart prevention and control through the selection of demonstration cities and best practices. There are now 21,000 street police stations, 136,000 community police offices, and 5,026 smart public security checkpoints nationwide. 256,000 smart city security communities have been built, including 778,000 smart security residential compounds. 21,000 social security organizations have been set up. All these have improved the coverage, technology level, and full-time and space prevention and control capabilities. In 2021, the number of robberies nationwide dropped by 96.1% compared with 2012, and theft cases down by 62.6%. 218,000 communities reported zero crime. Notably, the people is fully mobilized in social security governance. There emerged such examples like the Chaoyang residents, Shenyang Hero, Hangzhou Volunteer Police, Suzhou Blue Shield volunteers, Xiamen people and Shenzhen people, etc. These are the examples of mass prevention and mass governance. The people are fully involved and work together with the police in building a community of security and fostering a China of sound governance. Next step, the Ministry will fully implement the decisions of the Party Central Committee and follow the vision of overall national security. We will continue with the demonstration city campaign to promote the building of a social security prevention and control system in a wider range, more areas, at a deeper level, and with better overall performance. We will strive to raise the people's sense of benefit, happiness, and security, and we will also make new and greater contributions to building a peaceful China at a higher level. Thank you.
好，请继续提问。在那边第二排一副的这位女记者。 谢谢总台中国之声记者提问。那么我们知道呢，现在我们国家的汽车保有量还有道路的
In
通车里
China,
程
the number of automobiles and the road mileage ranks the first in the world. So, how is the road traffic security in China? And I'd like to hear also about the indicators for road traffic safety.
道路交通安全事关千家万户。
Road traffic safety
做了大
bears
量工作，也
on
是有很好的成效。
people's
具体这个问题，我
all
们
over
交
the
通管理局
country.
局长李
So
江平
we've also done a number of efforts in this regard.
谢谢
I'd like to invite my
记者提问。
colleague Mr. Li Jiangping to
党
answer
的
this
18大以
question.
来，
Since
全
the
国公安机
18th
关
CPC National
坚持
Congress,
人
the
民
public
至上，
security
生命
authorities
至上，
across country
紧紧
have
围绕
adhered to
防
the
事故、保
principle of
安
putting
全、保
people
畅
first
通，
and life first.
全
We
力
focused
确
on
保
preventing
道路
accidents,
交通安
ensuring
全
safety
行
and
驶
smooth
持续
traffic,
稳定
and
向
made
好。
every effort to
截
ensure
至
sound
2022
security of
年
road
6月
traffic
底，
nationwide. As of
全
the
国
end
机
of
动车保有
June
量
this
驾
year,
驶
the
人人
number
数
of
分别
automobiles
达
and
到
drivers reached
4.06亿人，
406 million
4.92
and
亿人，
492
同
million
比
respectively. The
2012年
increase
分别
of
增加1.6亿辆，
160 million and
2.27亿人。
227 million
道路
over the
交通安
previous
全
year.
各项指数持续
Indicators
下
of
滑，
road traffic security
重
kept
大以上
improving.
交通事
The
故
number
起
of
数
major
从
incidents has
2012
dropped
年的
from
25起下
25
降
in
到
2012 to
2021年
4
的4
in
起，
2021.
已连续
There
33个月
have
未发
been
生
no
特别重大交通
particularly
事故，
serious traffic
一
accidents
次死
for
亡3人以
33
上较大事
consecutive
故
months,
起
and the
数
number of
降幅
accidents
达到
of more than 3 deaths
59.3%。
has dropped by
一是加强顶层制度
59.3%.
设计，
First, we
提
strengthened
请
the
国务
top
院
level
出台
design.
加强道路交通安全工作的意见，
Worked with,
连续
we
编制发
reached
布
out to the State Council to
12
issue
道路交
the
通安全规
opinions
划，
on strengthening road
即
traffic
将发布
safety,
14规
compiled
划，
and released the 12th
系统
5-year
组织
and
实
13th
施道路
5-year
交
road
通安全
traffic
任务
safety
和重
plans,
大
and
工
will
作。
release the
二是
14th
完善
5-year
法律
plan
制度
soon.
体系，
Second, we also
推
improved
动
the
依
legal
法治
system. Adhering
建
to
立以道
law-based
路交通安
governance,
全法
we
为龙
established
头
a
的
system
法律法
of
规、
laws and
技术标准
regulations
体
and
系，
technical standards with
推
the
动
road
将
traffic
醉驾
safety law at the core.
等严重
We
交
also
通违
worked
法
to
纳
include
入刑法
serious
打击
traffic
范围。
violations into
三是
the
强化源头风险防
scope
控，
of criminal law,
推动实
such
施
as
公
we
务
included
安
drunk
全生
driving
命防护
into
工程，
criminal law. Third,
近
we
70万
strengthened
公
the
里危
prevention
险
and
道路
control
得到
of
治理，
source risks.
持
The
续开
implementation
展
of
两个
highway
一危
safety
一
and
祸
life protection
重
programs
点车
has
辆隐患
repaired
治理，
70,
联合相关部门开
700,000
展货
kilometers
车
of
非法
dangerous
改装，
roads. We
超限
enforced
超载治
strict
理，
traffic order on the
严
road
管路面
and
通行
carried
秩
out
序，
investigation of
严厉查处
truck
易肇事肇祸交通违
violations.
法。
We also cracked down
四是
on
大力
the
防止
violations
基
that
层
may
基础
entail
工作，
major accidents.
健
Fifth, we
全主
continued
体在
to
县
raise public
管理在
awareness
乡，延伸到
on
村的
public
农村交
safety.
通管理机
We
制，
put in place
推进
a
农村地区
rural traffic
两站两
management
园建设，
mechanism from county to
实
village
施
levels
公安
and
交通管理
established
平
relevant
台升
supporting
级改造，
mechanisms. We updated
强化
the
公
public
路
security
交通
traffic
安全防
management
控体系
platform,
建设应
strengthened
用，
the construction and
推动
application
交通
of the
管理
road
信息
traffic
化、
safety
智能化
prevention and
转型
control
升级。
system and promoted
五是持
smart
续强
traffic
化
management
交通安全
empowered
宣
by
传教育，
information technology.
推动设
Fifth,
立
we continued to
122
raise
全
public
国交通安
awareness
全
on
日，
public safety.
提升
The
全
National
民交
Traffic
通安全
Safety
意
Day
识，
was introduced to enhance
全面推广应用
traffic safety
交管
awareness of
互
the
联网
public.
服务平
The
台
Traffic
和
Management
交管
Internet
122
Service
123
Platform
手机
and the Traffic
APP，
Management
平均为
12123
驾驶
mobile
人点
app
对
were
点提
launched,
供安
providing
全预警、临界业务提示
331 million
3.3亿条。
point-to-point safety warnings
当
and
前，
critical reminders
我
for
国道
drivers
路交
every
通安
year.
全还
At
面临
present,
很多新
road
情况、
traffic safety
新
is
问
still
题，
facing many new
安全
situations
风险
and
隐患
problems,
依然
and there are
大
still
量
many
存在。
safety risks.
下一步，
Next
全国
step,
公安机
the
关
public
将围
security
绕道路
authorities
交通安全
nationwide will focus
减
on
量
the
控
work
大工作，
of reducing the amount and
认
level
真
of
抓好
road
夏季
traffic
突出交通违
accidents,
法行为
ensure
整
the
治，
success
百日
of the
行动，
100-day action to
为
address
群众
prominent
出
traffic
行创
violations
造
in
更
summer
加安
so
全
as
畅
to
通的
create
道
a
路交通
safer
环境。
road traffic
谢谢。
environment for the people. Thank you.
请继续提问。你就从这边的第2排这位男士就好。
谢谢主持人，我是红星新闻记者。我的问题是，据了解，今年3月，公安部组织开展了全国打击拐卖妇女儿童犯罪专项行动。请您介绍一下专项行动开展的有关情况。谢谢。
Human trafficking. So please brief us about this special campaign. Thank you for this question. I'd like to refer this question to my colleague, Mr. Liu Zhongyi. Thank you for the question. This March, the Ministry, together with the Civil Affairs Ministry, the National Health Commission, and the All China Women's Federation launched a one-year special campaign against the crime of abduction and women and children trafficking to address the backlog of trafficking cases, arrest suspects, and find victims of human trafficking. Up to now, a total of 906 cases have been settled. 1,198 women and children have been recovered, and 1,069 suspects have been arrested. For the special campaign to succeed, the ministry attached great importance to it and conducted special studies and integrated deployment. The public authorities in all localities worked hard, applied modern technologies, and used innovative approach to ensure that relevant measures are effectively implemented. First, a solid job in clues and information collection. The ministry instructed local public security authorities to carry out special investigations for clues related to abduction, focusing on parents of victims, suspected abducted persons, and persons of unknown birth background, and conducted in-depth investigations and DNA information collection. The Criminal Investigation Bureau of the Ministry has sorted out the addresses and contact numbers of more than 5,000 free blood collection points and released them through our official WeChat account so that the public can easily access these free blood collection services. Second is to conduct information comparison using criminal technologies. The ministry selected a group of experts in criminal technology and intelligence from across the country and launched online comparison of collected data. With the support of experts' wisdom, data resources, professional collaboration, and innovative tactics, we comprehensively used criminal technologies to support the special campaign. Third is to advance the investigation and handling of major cases. The ministry supervised the handling of 116 major cases and directed local authorities to organize capable forces to solve the cases. 7 A-level wanted orders and 19 B-level wanted orders were issued. And together with the Supreme People's Procuratorate and the Supreme People's Court, we jointly issued a circular urging the suspects to turn themselves in and eradicate the breeding ground for traffic crimes. Fourth is comprehensive operation. The State Council promulgated and implemented the action plan against human trafficking. At present, the Ministry, as the coordinator of the Interagency Joint Conference on Anti-Trafficking, is working with 35 member agencies to formulate a detailed implementation plan for the action plan against human trafficking 2021 to 2030. So as to put in place a long-term anti-trafficking mechanism integrating prevention, combat, rescue, and rehabilitation to create a good atmosphere for countering human trafficking crimes. Thank you. Next question.
谢谢主持人。人民日报记者提问：
People's
网络
Daily.
安全事关国家安全、社会稳定和人民福祉，
Cybersecurity
是
based
建设更
on
高水
social
平的平安中
security
国的
and
关键一
people's
环。请问
well-being. It
公
is
安
an
机关
important
在网
part
络
in
安
building
全
a
保护
peaceful
方面有
China.
哪些
So
举
what are the
措？谢
measures
谢。
of the public security authorities in improving cybersecurity?
好的，谢谢你的问题。这个较专业的
Thanks for
问题
this
请我们
question. I'll
网络安
have
全
Mr.
管理局的局长王
Wang
英伟
Yingwei, Director General of Cybersecurity, to answer this question. Thank you. In recent years, we've seen accelerated development of IT information technologies and their application. The digital economy is deeply integrated with the real economy, and that has placed a higher requirement on cybersecurity. The public security authorities, as the supervisory authorities of cybersecurity, have earnestly fulfilled our obligations and guided and supervised the different departments in enhancing cybersecurity in the form of protection of critical infrastructure. We have put in place a leveled cybersecurity protection system and improved the protection system for key information and infrastructure. We have also formulated supporting policies and technical standards and guided the internet operators to fulfill their responsibilities. Second, we have carried out routine supervision and law enforcement. Every year, we have supervision and screening of key information infrastructure and important information systems. Through on-site inspection and technology examination, the problems and risks are detected in a timely manner. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, we have deployed more than 100,000 police officers to have inspection and examination of nearly 100,000 units and more than 300,000 information systems. Third, we have established a notification and early warning system under which efforts have been made to improve the real-time monitoring and notification of related risks, which have effectively safeguarded cybersecurity. Going forward, we'll continue to carry out routine inspection and supervision and push forward dynamic, proactive, and targeted defense. We'll integrate the online and offline integration and make all-out efforts to protect key information infrastructure and important information systems and data security.
好，谢谢主持人中新社记者提问。
Thank you. With
请问
China
近年来，
News
公安机关
Service,
在强化政治训练、推进
in recent years, in enhancing political building and raising the overall proficiency and professional level of police officers, what have you done?
The public security authorities and police force is an important part of building a peaceful China. So I'd like to invite my colleague, Mr. Wu Deqing, to answer this question. Thank you for the question. Thank you for your support and interest in relevant work. Under the strong leadership of the party committees of the ministry and public security authorities at all levels, we implemented General Secretary Xi Jinping's important instructions on public security in the new era and have focused on strengthening the political and practical training of the police force to enhance the performance. In 2019, we launched a 3-year practical and high-standard training campaign covering the entire police force, which has effectively improved the political caliber, professional ability, and practical skills of public security force. First is political study. The public security authorities at all levels have made the in-depth study and implementation of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era as the primary political task. The police force studied the spirit of General Secretary Xi Jinping's important speech at the National Public Security Work Conference, and while carrying out study of the party history, We also organized 75,000 political study sessions involving 6.203 million trainees. All this has laid a solid ideological foundation for the public security force to uphold the party flag, follow the party's command, and be dedicated to mission. Second is to strengthen practical and professional training. We carried out a number of activities. More than 300,000 sessions of various police technical and tactical training courses were held. We also focused on addressing the major risks. 250,000 competitions and combat exercises were held. We also organized 3 rounds of quality police exchange and cooperation. And through comparing arrangement, mutual learning, and training assistance, we trained a number of police officers for public security organs in the western parts of China. Third is to strengthen the reform of practical education. We highlighted political standards and professional capabilities, continued to deepen the reform of the recruitment and training mechanisms of the police officers, and improved the coordination mechanism between the recruitment of public security colleges and public security authorities. We promoted the reform of practical teaching in public security colleges and universities, and improved the mechanism of collaborative education. We also improved the curriculum setting, teaching materials, and the teaching staff to meet the new requirement. Fourth is to strengthen the basic guarantee for actual combat. Public security organs at all levels focused on the basics and improved both software and hardware. Now there are more than 90,000 full-time and part-time police technical and tactical trainers and professional instructors. All provincial and municipal level police forces have training centers, and half of the county level police forces have or can share training bases. 984,000 volumes of training materials, case compilations, and micro-case courses were circulated. We also set up a public security education and training college online and built a full coverage modern online training system. Thank you. Next question.
谢谢主持人。南方都市报记者提问。
Over the past decade, the public security authorities have been promoting standardized law enforcement. So what are the major efforts in promoting impartial and civilized law enforcement, and what are the progress? The public security authorities are law enforcement securities. So it is a major pillar of our work. It is also an important way for us to serve the people. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, public security authorities nationwide have studied and implemented Xi Jinping thought on the rule of law, firmly followed the requirements of strict, standardized, impartial, and civilized law enforcement, and improved relevant work. First, the law enforcement system is more full-fledged. We worked with relevant departments to formulate important laws, such as the anti-terrorism law and the cybersecurity law. We also kept improving law enforcement standards, standardized law enforcement procedures, revised and improved the procedures for public security organs to handle criminal cases and administrative cases, and formulated detailed rules and on-site law enforcement guidelines, providing clear and specific operational norms for community-level law enforcement and avoiding unregulated law enforcement. Second, the supervision of law enforcement is more systematic and strict. We continue to deepen the reform of the supervision mechanism and worked to build a sophisticated and efficient law enforcement supervision system. We deepened the reform of case establishment, promoted the two-way to unification reform, in which the legal departments of the public security organs conduct unified review of the key law enforcement links. The system of legal officers were launched in the police stations and other community-level law enforcement units to ensure high-standard law enforcement and case handling. We improved the coordination and supervision mechanism between public security organs and procuratorial organs. Third, law enforcement services are more smart and efficient. We completed the standardization of the case handling areas in police stations. At the same time, following the principle of safety, standardization, integration, intelligence, and efficiency, the one-stop law enforcement case handling centers has been established in public security organs at the city and county levels to promote law enforcement. So far, 2,994 law enforcement and case handling management centers have been established, with a completion rate of 97.4%. Online case handling has been fully implemented. The whole process becomes more transparent and standardized. Law enforcement supervision is more targeted and efficient. With the support of information technology, we established and improved the law enforcement process recording system to achieve traceability and retrospective management of the entire process. Fourth, we enhanced law enforcement capabilities and raised our awareness. We deepened the study of Xi Jinping thought on rule of law, strengthened textbook law enforcement training, launched law enforcement qualification examination, and continuously improved the police officers' legal literacy and law enforcement ability. More than 1.9 million police officers have obtained basic law enforcement qualifications, and 60,000 of them have obtained advanced law enforcement qualifications. Next question.
谢谢主持人。中国日报记者提问。
China Daily.
2011年
In 2011, drunk driving was included in the criminal law, and the public security authorities nationwide have strictly cracked down on drunk driving. So please brief us about the progress over the past 10 years in combating drunk driving. Indeed, this topic is of wide concern nationwide. And this legislation has become a fine example of preventive legislation. No driving after drinking is also a very good example of our efforts in raising public awareness on relevant regulations and laws. I'd like to invite my colleague to answer this question. Since drunk driving began to be subject to criminal punishment in 2011, the public security authorities across the country have strictly cracked down on drunk driving. We worked with relevant authorities to realize the best political, legal, and social effect of our efforts. Over the past 10 years, and more, the governance of drunk driving is a successful practice of making full use of the rule of law to solve the problem of road traffic safety and ensure smooth road traffic. First, the number of drunk driving cases has dropped significantly. The proportion of drunk driving found in the inspection of 100 vehicles has been reduced by more than 70% compared with 11 years ago. For another example, most people now will choose substitute driving on a voluntary basis, and the average annual order of substitute driving reached 200 million. Second, the number of casualties caused by drunk driving accidents has been greatly reduced. Over the past decade, the number of number of automobiles has increased by 89%, and the number of drivers 123%. However, in the past 11 years, the national traffic safety situation has been generally stable, and casualties caused by drunk driving have been reduced by over 10,000. So tens of thousands of families have been saved from the tragedy of drunk driving. All this shows that we lived up to the original intention of the legislation to put life first. Third, no driving after drinking has become a social consensus, and it is now a civilized norm and a legal principle recognized and supported by the whole society. According to our survey, people fully recognize the effectiveness of law enforcement, and they support continued strict law enforcement on drunk driving. Fourth, the way we handle drunk driving has become a model for the rule of law in China. We upheld the principle that everyone is equal before the law, and the law is the only standard. Such a model is also being applied in addressing other issues in social governance and provided a paradigm for promoting the rule of law in the country, in governance, and in society. Fifth, the effort against drunk driving has effectively promoted the building of a clean and honest party. Drunk driving by party members and officials have been seriously handled and become an important part of improving party conduct and building a clean government. It has effectively raised the awareness of law and discipline of party members and officials and played an important role in addressing misconducts. Good legal system and sound governance require continued efforts. Drunk driving will rebound if we slack our efforts. I would like to take this opportunity to call on all sectors of society to jointly take part in this initiative and remind relatives and friends to resolutely resist the illegal and criminal acts of drunk driving and jointly create a safe and civilized road traffic environment. Thank you.
我们还有2位记者举手，我们最后2个问题吧。先后面那位，第2排。
Thank you. With cover news. Recently, the assault incident in Tangshan has received wide attention. What has the Ministry of Public Security done, and what other plans will be rolled out in cracking gangster? Indeed, like you said, this assault incident in the barbecue shop in Tangshan has received high attention from the general public, and we'll have Mr. Liu Zhongyi to give you more details. Indeed, this is an incident of high public concern. It is a serious breach of public morality. We at the ministry take this very seriously and immediately sent a task force and selected experts to go have the investigation, and relevant info will be made public in a timely manner. We fully appreciate the high attention on this case, and because of that, every lead of the perpetration and of the case will be investigated to the bottom. And let me assure you that the public security authorities will absolutely get to the bottom of the entire case and punish the perpetrators to the full extent of the law. The people have a high concern on gangster crimes and related problems. Recently, we planned for the public security authorities nationwide to launch a summer season 100-day special campaign to uphold law and order. This is required by the actual situation on the ground and to meet people's needs and to give people a sense of security. crack serious cases efficiently and crack minor cases whenever they arise to ensure both deterrence and real results. To date, more than 49,000 cases have been cracked and more than 70,000 suspects have been arrested. In keeping with the arrangements of the Party Central Committee, we have also carried out routine work to crack down on gangsters and mafia. We, at the ministry, introduced opinions on routine crackdown on gangsters. In light of the latest developments, we have arranged for public security authorities to carry out a series of special campaigns to crack down on villains in villages and traditional areas such as sandpits and mines. Illegal loans and illicit fraud and chatting news have also been cracked down hard upon. We have also been going after fugitives. Since the launch of the routine campaign, more than, or rather 249 gangster organizations have been cracked down upon, and a total of 22,000 suspects have been arrested. Going forward, we'll continue to publicize the anti-organized crime law and integrate punishment with prevention and take a holistic and targeted approach in punishing the organized crimes. We'll continue to make our work more law-based, more professional, and better regulated, all in an effort to truly increase people's sense of benefit, happiness, and security.
谢谢，谢谢。天目新闻提问。
Thank you. With Tianmu News. In the 1960s, in Zhudi city of Zhejiang province, there was the Fengqiao experience, and which is very successful in resolving disputes through diverse means. What have you done in upholding these experiences in the new era? Fengqiao experience is a very vivid example of inclusive resolution of disputes, and I'll have Mr. Qiu Baoli to answer this question. Thank you for the question. The Ministry of Public Security has all along attached high importance to the detection and resolution of disputes. We have earnestly implemented the Xi Jinping thought on the rule of law and instructed public security authorities across the nation to uphold and develop the Fengqiao experience in the new era. We carried out special campaigns to detect and resolve disputes and put in place a comprehensive mechanism on the prevention, mediation, and settlement of disputes to see that the disputes are not handed unnecessarily to upper levels of authorities and ensure there's overall security and services are in place. In 2019, to follow through on the instructions by General Secretary Xi Jinping, that is, to uphold and develop the Fengqiao experience and uphold and implement the party's mass line, we, with the permission of the Party Central Committee, arranged for the public security authorities nationwide to promote the Fengqiao-style police stations. This is an important vehicle to promote the experience from Fengqiao and to promote the resolution of disputes through diverse means. In light of the latest developments on the ground, since the start of COVID-19, we have instructed public security authorities nationwide to provide ready services to the households and focused on various disputes to ease people's concerns and difficulties and prevent the interplay and exacerbation of disputes and make sure the problems are solved at the grassroots level and at their primary stage to the greatest extent possible. Based on their work of handling cases and stationing at communities and through door-to-door visits, interagency briefing, and meetings with the people, the police officers have gone out to learn about the people's opinions and make sure that disputes are discovered, mediated, and handled as early as possible. They've also been working with the court, people's mediators, and lawyers to resolve the disputes through diverse means. In 2021, more than 6 million disputes have been screened and resolved and eliminated safety hazard, numbering more than 3.88 million, which effectively prevented the occurrence of a large number of cases. Going forward, we'll continue to uphold and develop the experience from Fengqiao and enhance the grassroots level work based on the police stations to resolve disputes and prevent risks and hazards. This will provide a strong underpinning for building a peaceful China at a higher level. Thank you for coming. That is the end of today's press briefing.
A live press conference in Beijing where officials briefed the media on achievements in the past 10 years to enhance public security for the Chinese people. Now for more discussion, I'm joined by Victor Gao, Chair Professor at Soochow University. Professor Gao, thank you so much for staying with us throughout the press conference. I mean, public security is such a broad concept. We're talking about law enforcement. We're talking about increasing people's sense of security and safety living in their own country. Now, from that press conference we just heard, how would you rate China's efforts and performance in enhancing public security and safety for its people?
Well, first of all, in comparison to the rest of the world, China is really one of the safest countries in the world. I think violence is really minimum. Violence resulting in death is very, very low. And I think generally speaking, people's confidence in the law enforcement agencies and also their expectation of being safe is very high. Now this is truly a result of the tremendous amount and extraordinary amount of work done by the Chinese police. Now the Chinese police is unique in the sense that they are all subject to the unified management and control and supervision of the Ministry of Public Security, whereas in the lower levels of government hierarchy, they are also reporting to the local governments, so they are subject to the dual leadership and supervision. This makes the Chinese police one of the largest police forces throughout the world, a very disciplined and very effective police force, and also they are very much subject to the same standard of management and control and supervision. And I think given the size of the Chinese territory and the size of the Chinese population, to have such uniform and unified police force throughout the country subject to the same standards and the supervision is truly extraordinary, because if you look at other countries, for example the United States, police is really very haphazard. Each city, each town has its own police force, and coordination between and among them is really very minimum. So in this sense, I think the Chinese people should really be very grateful to the excellent work of the Chinese police forces in general for achieving the highest standard of peace in China.
I do have another question for you. How do you think the country should coordinate different sectors when it comes to making it safe for people. For example, one issue raised at the press conference is online fraud, which has been so rampant in the past couple of years. A lot of people fall for it, online fraud, telephone fraud. And it's not just in the hands of the public security apparatus to act after this crime has been committed already. It takes multiple sectors to get proactive before this crime can really hurt and harm the people. How does the coordination happen?
Well, first of all, cyber fraud is a new phenomenon in China, mainly because cyber internet connectivity is also relatively new. It's only about a couple of decades. And I think cyber fraud is very, very serious and very rampant. And criminals normally would coordinate in China versus in overseas countries, for example, in countries in ASEAN countries. And it is very difficult to crack through all these labyrinth of criminal activities. And normally, for example, it would involve duping the people to make a bank transfer. So you are talking about banks, telecommunication, and then whenever funds are transferred to the illegitimate accounts, for example, how do you really go through the whole process to get the money back, and also for the police to get hold of those criminals to prevent them from repeating such crimes onto other innocent people. So it's very, very complicated. When you talk about cross-border law enforcement, it becomes more difficult because you are talking about getting permission for the Chinese policeman to be sent abroad to another country which has completely different jurisdiction, different laws and regulations, for example, and how do you coordinate with law enforcement agencies in other countries, whether the two countries involved are friendly to each other, encouraging such cooperation, or whether they are cold shouldering with each other, for example. This is truly a very new phenomenon, and I think the people at large in China are becoming more aware of the danger of cyber fraud, and I think the government at all levels are alerting them that they need to be aware of such cyber fraud, protect their own money.
The officials said at the press conference that China is internationally acknowledged to be one of the safest countries to live in. You said that just now too. I mean, the Chinese people obviously are very happy and proud of this achievement. People's sense of security, according to data, reached as high as 98.6% in 2021. And that's incredible number right there. But if we're really just reaching for the stars here, what would make people even happier, even safer in this country? What type of risks and challenges should the public security apparatus tackle going forward into the next decade?
Well, first of all, I think it is true that China is one of the safest countries in the world. I travel extensively overseas, and I can compare different countries with China's record with my own eyes. Now, China's exposure to crimes also has its own uniqueness. Sometimes certain crimes are more rampant in China compared with other countries or other jurisdictions. And also, China is a big landmass with 31 provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities directly under the State Council's jurisdiction. So sometimes cross-provincial crimes is more difficult to track and hunt down. So coordination between cities, among provinces, for example, especially when crimes happen involving different industrial sectors, towns versus urban areas versus agricultural areas, for example, sometimes the long chains are easily broken, and cooperation and coordination among law enforcement agencies in different cities and regions need to be further strengthened. The other thing is that I think new crimes are popping up constantly, mainly because of the rapid economic development, the transformation of China as we speak. So the law enforcement agencies cannot be complacent. They really need to move at least 1 or 2 steps ahead of the criminals to know what they are up to, and they need to get the newest technologies and equipments to hunt down those criminals, whether they are inside China or whether they are committing these crimes from overseas markets, for example.
Yeah, new crimes, complex crimes, crimes of different nature, of an economic nature, financial nature, and cross-border crimes. These really, make the job difficult for Chinese policemen. Professor, thank you so much for joining us and for your expertise as always. Appreciate it.